Please silence your cell phones.
Make sure you got cameras.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, make a motion, we open the meeting. Second?
Trustee Marshall.
Aye.
Trustee Coe.
Aye.
Trustee Wilkes.
Aye.
Mayor Plummer.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay, this actually is not one of our regular meetings. This is a budget workshop. As such, it's an informal discussion of a draft of the budget that has been worked on internally. My thanks to Dorothea and Jason, and also to trustees Marshall and Wilkes for helping to put this draft together. Did you want to, Dorothea, do the change order
Yep.
first? Yeah, just to get that out of the way.
Yep.
Okay, just a little bit of admin here, folks.
Yep, so I received, I think this morning or over the weekend, a change order from Scott Harder for the bathroom projects, the additionals. There's a sheet of different items that are needed that weren't anticipated. The bottom line ends up being another $17,325. And it doesn't seem like some of this you can not do. Electrical, water, alarm wire.
Yeah, a lot of this, I think, is the result of the fact that
Yeah.
the building hasn't been worked on in years. And it's, it's like anything with something that's old. Once you get in there, you realize, there were other
Well,
aspects.
6,000 of it is almost just grounding issues.
Yeah, scary.
There's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it brings the bill, although your sheet says 319,325, it's wrong, it's 329,325.
Added
The
incredible.
board previously approved and it's shown reflecting the 20,000 first change order, that was for Village Hall with the drainage issue, so I just want to make sure everybody.
Yeah, it's not just the DPW
It's
building,
not
there's
just
all
the
the
DPW.
drainage that they took care of around Village Hall as well, so it's sort of, you're looking at all of that.
We previously put aside
Sorry, which line item is that within?
the 20,000.
In the 20,000?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the change order because of the drainage issues we were having here. Previously, we had committed 327,000, from sewer reserves and a portion, and 110 from the general fund. So we're still sitting okay, because we don't have a final bill, so I'm not worried about the financing, but luckily enough, we have enough in there to cover this change order.
Yeah, and it's already, we're still below what was approved,
Yeah,
it's
so
just, this is
I
where
did
we
the
are right now,
authorization
and we're almost done.
for the mayor to sign the change order.
Scott was okay with all this?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, he's reviewed it, yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the change order as presented.
Second.
Okay, roll call please.
okay, trustee Wilkes.
Aye.
Trustee Coe.
Aye.
Trustee Marshall.
Aye.
Mayor Plummer.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay. Great.
All right, now the fun stuff.
Yeah,
So in front of you, you got the multi-year plan, you had budgets and everything else. I figured we'll start with multi-year. And I cleaned it up some since we had our meeting. There's probably a little cleanup here and there that needs to happen in there, but I think all the Excel sheets now and all those
Oh,
charts are being right. No, I think I finally enough to someone else's chart.
and then this also, if I'm correct, this is also reflecting the review with John Limbeck and Jason.
Correct.
So if this has really been updated.
Yes,
From
I
that.
believe trustee went back and met
Okay.
with Jason, reviewed the road schedule, the equipment
Yeah.
and vehicle schedule. So this is reflecting everything. So where would you guys like to start? I always put the current year in here in case we want to recap that, but
Pretty basic stuff, I mean, we already,
Dave, what was the change that you had wanted from the first meeting that we had with Jason? With the columns, remember you wanted some like sources and use, what was that?
Yeah. So in the prior long-term capital plans, what we would do in the year of the budget that we're adopting, we would allocate the funding instead of from general, we'd allocate that funding to reserve. So the source of funding
Yeah.
would show reserve. rather than general. In all future years, we kind of let it stay in as general. And the point there being is, once we're making these determinations that all this has to be done, if they don't get done, we don't want to lose that capital to something else, because we know eventually it will need to be done. So that's why the budget will show like an allocation to reserves and then coming out the fund.
In the present year.
Yeah.
Got
But
I
we
think
did-
I-
we did do that.
Yeah.
I did, but I think I got a little crazy and did it additionally.
No, no,
That's what I was thinking, like,
You were on a roll.
beyond there. Yeah, okay.
You know, I'm like, fix this, fix that, you know.
The great thing about what we have in front of us is it basically just feeds right to the budget.
Yeah.
And we don't have
Yeah.
to, as past superintendents had said, you don't have to come and pitch the next thing.
The money's in the kitty.
It's here.
Yeah,
We need to do it.
Yeah.
If somebody doesn't agree with it, well,
Yeah.
tell me what we're taking out.
yeah,
And, John and Jason have done really great work to identify what needs to be done with the roads, what needs to be done with the vehicles. And so now we're just figuring out how do we source it through the years, spread it out. Hopefully over time, the reserve funding is consistent, and then the pull from the reserves oscillates relative to the year.
And the only other thing I would add is, I really like that Jason has tried to find creative ways
Yeah.
to save money, but get the same goal,
Yeah.
right? So if it's a
oh,
vehicle.
yeah, he's on it,
that
yeah,
we know we can get for a couple of years, older, but it still does the same thing.
yeah,
Yep, and that's not dissimilar to the conversations that we had in the budget meeting with regard to Sutherland and the road
Yeah.
and mill and pave. Whether or not it's infrastructure or vehicles, we're not just trying to throw around new buildings every year, right? It's how do we keep what we have and maintain.
and then also, I mean, and we haven't fully recognized it yet, but because we are really replacing a lot of the equipment down there. Repair lines go down, it'll start to show up in other areas.
Yep.
Because now we just have things that aren't breaking down and held together with duct tape.
That's right.
you
And
know.
what's also interesting is this is our third year, but the idea of when you're looking at the revenue and you're looking at the expenses and you're thinking, okay, we don't feel like we're in any better position than we were in the years past, but we are. And we're in a substantially better spot than we had been in the past. We have reserve funding we didn't have 3 years ago, before, 2 or 3 years ago. And just this whole structure, I think, looks great.
So let's go over 26, 27 because it's part of this
Yeah.
year. I want to touch on a couple things. So, Mary, do you want to discuss Rutherland?
Yeah, Sutherland, we had actually a very good meeting with Villager. They're the contractors that had put in the bid and given us some of the numbers for Sutherland. And so believe it or not, even though it's still winter, they're already lining up their work schedule, and as is Scott Carter, our village engineer, and he's going to be doing the engineering work. And it's kind of a heavy lift for him right now, just in terms of scheduling to do that level of engineering. So, and I think what came out of the meeting was really a solid approach to doing Sutherland, also from a financial standpoint, and you can speak to that in a minute. So instead of going in, digging the whole thing up and doing it, the whole thing, we're gonna be doing 2 phases. So phase 1 is gonna be, because we need to do infrastructure underneath the roadbed. And, Scott's gonna help us with that. I know he's already reached out to the Monroe County Water Authority. There's some things that they may have to be doing as well. So, what will happen then in phase 1, which will be this summer, all the infrastructure will be done, all of the tie-ins underneath the road, and the road will be sealed over essentially, for lack of, like an asphalt sandwich, where there'll be an inch of paving. It'll be a smooth road surface to get everybody through the next year when we actually do the roadbed curbing proper. So it's phase 1 this summer, phase 2 the following. Yeah, and it also, do you want to speak to it just
In
financially?
addition, the other issue is the sidewalks were a concern.
Yeah,
Because we're looking to do the sidewalks there. They don't recommend we go forward this year because, again, there's the infrastructure under the road they feel we should handle first. Sidewalks should be done first, then the road, because you don't want to drive over a new road with all the heavy equipment to do the sidewalks, is what they were saying.
yeah, they have I actually understood maybe a little bit differently, but
But either way, they felt it was better to put the road together all,
phase two for the.
Oh, yeah,
yeah, do the
Second,
road,
like the next summer.
yeah, do the road and the sidewalks.
And the portion of Sutherland, and we all know this because we drive it and walk there. The worst portion is from Lincoln going up to Jeff. Okay. And then they call it sort of the lower end going down to Monroe may not need as much work. It may not need to really go down through the roadbed, and they'll be doing core sampling the same way we did for South and Wood, just to see kind of what's there. So it may be a mill and pave,
Right.
which is significantly cheaper than redoing the whole road. The mill and pave would be from Lincoln down to Monroe. And then the real heavy duty road work, bringing it back up, would be from Lincoln to Jefferson. And the reason why it's important to, or should be strongly considered, to do the entire road together, whether it's mill and pave on one end and, the newer road on the other, is the tie-in, to make sure at that time, everything is evenly tied in, as opposed to, well, we did half here, oh, we did half here, oops, sorry about the bump. They can just do it seamlessly. And then just from the financial standpoint,
The sidewalks, we'll have that grant hopefully certified and done. We'll be able to move forward with that. We'll have our financing in place for everything else. So it just puts us in a better place for next year.
also because we're still having to close out South and Wood.
We got South and Wood right now, we're closing out. We still gotta close out the front porch. We're still getting that resolved. We got the bathroom project still going. So knock on wood, all that'll be over. So by the time we tackle this, it'll be one project.
When do they anticipate the bathroom being done?
May, first week of May.
This one says May.
Yeah, we're getting there.
So it may be semantics, but I think when we met
Yes,
initially with Jason, and
yes.
the idea, kind of that same idea came out of.
Yeah, that's
look,
what he wanted to talk about with
Yeah.
Villager.
Exactly,
Yeah.
do the whole thing, the road part at
Mhm.
once, for all the reasons that you
Mhm.
mentioned. Now, I just, to understand, so they want,
Villager didn't feel comfortable. They didn't feel we were ready to move forward. They felt it was better to take more time with the engineering, make sure
Yeah.
everything was perfect.
The engineering would
before we
drive this.
Started. And then have everything happen at one time, get your underground work done first,
okay,
then just put something on it so the road is okay.
Oh, the
for
road is
winter.
smooth. It'll be,
oh,
yeah.
so now, because at our last meeting, it was kind of like, look,
We need to get on
we'll
it.
do all of it, we're gonna get on their schedule, do the whole thing and what, so now instead it is
Two
for the
parts.
for the kind of the box at Lincoln up to Jefferson. That's where all the infrastructure is going to be done in the summer.
I think the
The whole road. In other words, all the infrastructure underneath the road goes from Jefferson all the way to Monroe. That's the first phase this
Oh.
summer. All the way down. And understand too, they're gonna be rebuilding the catch basins. It's
Everything.
yeah. So the good news is, when we finally close out this project, we won't even have to look at this in any serious way for like 20, 30 years.
Did Jason mention though that the part from Lincoln to Monroe didn't need the infrastructure?
Underneath, there is some concern with water service.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's why I said we
Got it,
reached
got
out
it,
to the
got
Road County Water Authority.
There's-
Okay,
So
Yeah.
Villager really felt we weren't ready to go forward, to
Gotcha.
get on their calendar.
They really felt that it required a lot more engineering, and Scott agreed, when everybody, they talk their talk, and I don't wanna mess with that. I want it done once and I want it done right.
I
and
think the
we all
biggest
do.
concern we had is the concern the road was failing and not being able to get another winter out of it. And we'll address that, so we at least can get another winter.
Oh, yeah,
And
it'll
we
be a
do the whole
smooth surface.
project.
It'll be a smooth
Now,
surface.
does 75 Monroe have anything to do with any part of Sutherland? Are they doing anything
Not at this point, it's already been done.
additionally? It's been done.
It's been done.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're tying, yeah.
and so this summer, again, thinking about the bond and stuff like that, and the
Right.
sources and uses for that, is Villager saying they want to do this summer?
Just the underground.
Just the,
The
Just the
infrastructure.
underground, and then a light paving
like,
over,
just to get us through.
Mhm.
just to get us through.
Okay,
Winter.
Get us through the winter.
exactly.
And then next year, it will be
A
the
The whole
full
enchilada.
bill and pay
Yes,
kind of.
everything.
During the
During the summer,
reconstruction,
during the summer.
Yeah.
Right after school's
Right
out,
after
will be
school.
on their calendar, will be.
So will there be any interruption in the road, during this winter? Will they, will
During
they
this
still be able, yeah, to do the?
No, it'll be done during the summer,
No.
Oh, during this summer, got it.
even this
Part
year.
one and
Versus
part
summer.
two are going to happen probably in June when school is out through,
Right.
you know, whatever. And I think this first phase is maybe only 3 weeks to
Yeah, it's
4.
not gonna be long.
It's not a lot, yeah.
Do we shut down the street during that time?
No,
Okay,
So the 6 weeks has now potentially become 3 or 4, and then next summer, it'll be another 3 or 4, what,
little chunk,
right?
yeah.
So 2 chunks instead of 1,
Mhm.
and we'll finance it this year, get the bond issued, get the money,
Right.
put it into a CD or something.
We'll,
And then-
we'll get the bond, we'll pay for the underground work that needs to be done.
Yeah,
Do we know how much that is?
Not yet.
They're-
Okay.
I mean, we literally just had this discussion, so.
Okay.
they're
This-
putting
Just
that-
trying to match up the money.
This
No,
was-
I know,
this-
no.
We met on Tuesday, this was Thursday.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah.
the thought is, like you said, I'll take the money, we'll take some proceeds, pay for the underground work, we'll roll it into a CD, I'll put it in as long as you guys like.
right.
And then we'll pull it out when we're ready for the construction.
Okay, so coming back to
Mm.
cost difference
Mhm.
between all at once versus 2 parts.
yeah, I think we looked at, if we do the milling and pave in the lower half, and Jason was gonna give us those numbers.
We were looking around 100 grand for the mill and pave. that-
Yeah,
But until, this gives them a better chance to,
no, but the overall, okay, so the whole project was bid out potentially at, what was it, 1.5?
yeah,
If we do it this way, it doesn't come in at 1.5. It comes
No.
in at a lower rate. So one of the thoughts we're looking at, because we still have, you know, road work to be done, so, you know, Locust, Church, all of that. And also depending on how the sidewalks sort of shake out, we may be able to take that sidewalk grant funding, a portion of it, if we don't use all 700K on Sutherland, and sort of write it so it can go towards sidewalks on Church and
Mhm,
Locust, you know, because they're next.
mhm.
So there's a savings associated with this.
yeah, there's definitely
Yeah.
a savings.
Yeah,
I think it's just a smarter way of doing it.
So they had also mentioned the curbing
Yeah,
yep.
should be done after,
Mhm, mhm,
the curbing will be next year.
mhm.
will be next year.
Yeah.
Okay, phase 2 will
It's
include
phase
curbing.
two.
Right, this way they can core the whole road, they can
Okay.
take a.
And when we get the numbers back, they will break it out and that'll be sent out to
Yeah,
you.
we'll
You
still-
guys can see what's in what phase and what's in the
Yeah,
other. And also, we're going to be reaching out, obviously, to the residents. And the school district's aware, but you know, there's a new superintendent, so. We just want to bring everybody on board. This is how it's gonna unfold, you know, that kind of thing.
Plenty of time for resident meetings.
Yeah.
Through the whole project.
For now, for the budgeting process, we're putting $1 million in for this year.
We're showing it, board agreed for me, if you still want me to go ahead, reach out to the bond. I held off until we had this meeting, but if you want me to go ahead and start, at least get the bond paperwork started.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
already approved it. I think we
Yeah.
need to do it. The only question that I'd have to the board regarding this budget process is, do we show the $1 million next year? Or do we divide it out over 2 years and we put the funding sources, the same thing, the bond, but at least then you're being clear as to when you're spending the money, even though you're raising it.
Exactly, that goes back, that's my issue, is that if we're kind of mismatching the uses of the funding.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
If we don't show it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we should need to show it that way.
Since I really have no idea what that underground is gonna cost.
Right. And I don't know if we'll have that full quote or not, and so let's do the hypothetical that you show it this way, even though you're thinking you're definitely gonna do it the other way. Worst case, you do it the other way and you just fix it, but I
Well,
think,
it's an amendment. It would be an
Yeah.
amendment, and that's okay.
yeah, I
You
mean,
know, I mean, this isn't static, you know, as you know, this is dynamic, you
But
know.
also,
stuff
we don't
happens.
have the number.
We don't have the
Right,
number
we
yet.
don't have a number.
I mean, you know, get out the dartboard. I don't know.
I showed it in both years, in phase 1, phase 2,
Mhm,
sure.
I would.
And
Yeah.
Al,
and the same information.
Yeah.
Just. It's the same project, same budget,
And-
it's just carrying over to.
Yeah.
And they're gonna try to turn around the numbers as quickly as they can. I mean,
Yeah.
this meeting just happened.
That'll be more understandable for
You
the
know, and
residents.
they know we're in our budget cycle, so they're, you know, they're aware. That's when we look at those numbers.
But as far as the bond, because the bonds are being issued now, okay, we'll have a bond payment now. We're gonna have potentially on the revenue sheet, Because we'll have maybe 6 months to a year of interest for whatever the portion is next year. We could have a revenue line item for.
Right, we'll take the bond, start the bond paperwork, by the time I get everything done, post it from the plum, go out to bid, it actually will hit next year's budget.
It will.
So it'll
Okay.
be the following year, but we'll plan for interest in whatever we've already accounted for.
Okay.
And we'll just match the CD,
Yeah, right.
whatever
Yeah, this.
June would be.
Right.
of that.
Right, well, just as soon as I get the funds in the account and go into a CD, I'll keep a portion to pay for the underground.
We might actually make net money.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm trying to figure out the spread on that one. Might not be that.
It works that way.
Yeah, well,
But for us, looking at
One can
using
hope.
the previous bond and chip, so I might be able to just not get the bond this year. And
Oh, and just to work
to
with
next year,
chips?
Because we'll be still sitting.
So, yeah, the 275,
oh,
would you be able to get, but you would have to use that, right? You couldn't take that as well and sit on it and put it in a CD.
No, well, the CD is already there.
Okay,
For the portion coming from chips, I have to file
got
after
it.
we
Yeah.
spend it.
After you spend it, got it.
Yeah,
Okay,
So
so,
we're definitely spending 275,000 this year.
right, so we could probably hold off on the bond, but it's up to you guys.
what's the advantage other than, the fact that it's in the next year's budget? I mean, I get that, but
Saving interest.
yeah,
But
I mean,
but
I
we
don't
still
know.
need to know how much.
I know,
It's
that's
gonna,
the
yeah, we
thing.
can't make the decision.
What's
you know.
Like, bada bing.
We can hold off for now.
Why don't we go with this? Why don't we go with the idea of try to get a best estimate this year versus next year? Show it that way. And it's,
Oh, the project costs.
yeah, the total project cost. And it's possible we issue the bond next year, not this year. We use CHIPS funding and maybe a little bit of reserve funding. That is to say, general fund, but put it in reserves for infrastructure funding and then pull it out. Right? And if you wait on the bond till next year, you don't have to show the payment until next year, right? Because generally the year of the issue is the year that I want to show the interest of the payment. So you could get away with punting a little bit on any tax change necessary to cover that cost by just paying for what you need this year.
But what I'm gonna say is the 275 is made up of chips and 80,000 of our previous bonds, so we wouldn't even have to look at taking it another side.
Yeah, so
We
let's,
could be okay.
Well, but depending on, again, how much.
Yeah, no, that's,
so put an estimate out. I would suspect the majority of the cost will be next year, not this year, but I don't know.
I think we'll be okay. I think we can.
Well, they're gonna get back to us pretty,
Okay.
I mean,
That number,
Yeah,
but
then
just
you-
to bring the
we
board
need
up to
some
speed
numbers.
there.
Yep, okay, okay.
The other thing we're showing on here, and this is for Lisa, we have vehicle repairs and improvements. So Jason, instead of replacing some vehicles, he's doing repairs, replacing doors. You'd see that in the vehicle list. So the thought process was that since we have the repair reserve for equipment, we're gonna take from that this year.
This is the beginning of this, where your repair reserve line is almost always coming from reserve. And then in the budget, we fund it back, and then they're disconnected a bit.
Hmm.
Right?
So that's new on here.
Mhm.
Shane Place for oil and stone. The Bobcat, that's an additional sidewalk machine, better do less damage than the current sidewalk machine. One of the sidewalk machines they're using is the plant. Any questions on
And
any of
in this
that?
case, that line item going to reserve, that's the reserve funding and then pull it back out.
Yeah.
Again, just for kind of Lisa, your background, Jason also mentioned the reason why they're trying to move to more Bobcat
Mhm.
vehicles is because we have a lot of for better word, accessories and modular things that can attach
Can swap things
and
out.
swap things out much easier with the Bobcat family of vehicles. So they're able to be more
Function.
functional, exactly, and you don't have to buy as many vehicles because we can switch out a plow or switch
Oh,
out.
great.
So this ends up being cheaper down the road as well, because you can swap out the
Right.
accessories.
Yeah, it's a better investment.
So that's what we're talking about, him being creative.
Exactly.
Yeah, no,
Okay,
he's
got it.
totally on it, he and
Yeah.
Pete. they're
And I
totally on it.
think the relationship, a good working relationship for the repair and the providing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Okay.
I see on next year to the software thing, financial sewer tax software.
Yeah,
I understand the interest in doing that. I suppose if we're figuring out a way to fund it, at a minimum, this simply means we're gonna come back with purchase.
we're gonna come
or-
back at some
Or
point.
something
We're-
and look at it.
I'm gonna get estimates, see what it's really gonna cost to switch all our software. because I think 75 is low.
It might be, how old is our software?
It was here well before me. I
Oh,
think they've
wow.
been
So 15 years?
yeah.
How
So
Before-
inefficient is it? Sorry to interrupt.
Pardon me?
How inefficient is it? Does it, so for example,
Yeah,
is
why
it
don't
gonna
you
save
talk-
you a full laborer? Like,
I'm sorry.
is it gonna, is it going to save you the cost of a full employee full-time? No, right? Is it gonna save you the cost of half an employee, like, effort?
I don't know until I see.
And I don't know that you look at it that
I think the
way.
bigger issue is for you having real-time
Yeah.
understanding of where we are. And from
There's nothing real time.
It doesn't seem like you can do it. It seems like it's backed up by a month.
But we don't see it anything more than monthly anyway, and so it's buying you a little bit of intra-month. I guess my question is.
I would say yes and no.
Yeah,
Okay,
why don't you
It's
speak
not
to
so
some of the
much you
things
guys
that,
seeing it as too much as us seeing it real
right,
time.
it's the internal.
Because comptroller, you're not supposed to overrun lines. It happens. We understand that. We try to avoid it as best as possible with assessments. But I can see things more real time when Jason comes to me, do we have this kind of money to do this? I can pull it up right away. Now I can't,
Mhm.
because it's only backed up till the last time I did the bank rec. So right now I'm bank wrecking January, so everything that's been spent in February won't show up until like middle of March.
So it's possible you could go negative in a line intra-month,
Correct.
and you're not supposed to do that, is what you're
Right,
saying.
that's one of the things, and there's reports that we're limited on. A lot of the things we do by hand, a lot of the reports the board would like to see year over year, I can't
Mhm.
create. The software is just not robust enough to do a
Okay.
lot of those things. The closing process for year end, where I am delayed, that is part of the problem.
Mhm.
So it's our software.
So one of the reasons why I asked that question goes back to computer software programming is one of these things that AI is accelerating and,
Mhm.
the pace of creation and hopefully lowering the cost of it. I don't know that to be true yet. It really hasn't quite seen through,
Mhm.
but it's possible software does get less expensive versus substantially more if we, through AI, can create it quicker. I'm not sure though, given what you're saying, it's worth waiting. So that would be only.
What, a personal experience, just from like what I do with my company and stuff like that, what I've found is this area, like municipalities,
Yeah.
so it's, you run into the same issue as that we ran into like during COVID, where people who knew how to code in COBOL were able to help, like, at the federal government level, but nobody codes in that anymore.
Right.
So you have like, you end up with AI that's really good at doing things like a paralegal, but if it's
Yeah.
interacting with a municipality's like financial
Yeah.
It
wrecking,
might not
it
be
doesn't
very,
know what it's
Which is
doing.
why I'm going back to
Yeah.
just do this little thing,
Yeah.
like. Put it on the line, let's fund it, and let's figure out how.
The way I look at it is, let's take a look. Let's
Yeah.
not make any jumps. We're not in desperate.
Yep.
Do
State,
Do we know what the town does?
I don't know what software brand they use in town.
So I was just wondering if we get like.
Yeah, I'm not sure, and that's what I
something-
look at everything to see.
Right,
Yeah, we're
research
trying-
on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
That's a good
and this is
question.
no insult to any municipal software company out there, but when I talk to the clerks, they'll tell you there's no great software for municipal software.
Hmm.
Cause
It's clunky.
They're all rough.
Do we have a reserve that would cover software?
no, it's not one of those really things you reserve for.
Yeah, there's nothing, there's no reserve, because I'm only saying, because if we allocate 75 grand to software.
In general.
And it'd be nice if we don't get it done hypothetically, that we know that money's gonna sit there for the future.
I didn't put it in the budget, because to me, it's,
Well, typically, it should just be a monthly expense. It's a software as a service. Monthly
love
expense,
that.
but in this case, this becomes a capital cost because you're doing a full
Yeah.
wholesale switch
Right.
of provider. So you have these initiation costs and like.
it's gonna be a process.
Set up
It's gonna be
fees.
talking to companies, then it's gonna be going out to bid. And it's gonna be a lot of time and
Did you sink that 64,000 coming from the general fund into the budget? So this is not in the budget right now.
no, it's not even in the budget.
I don't even think I have that page.
Yeah.
I really, like I said, I think we need to get ideas of it, but I'm not ready to pull the trigger.
So you're floating it.
I'm floating.
Okay.
You're floating it.
No, I don't have it.
So it's not in the budget, but it's in the capital plan. If we put it in the capital plan, we gotta fund it in the budget.
Well, Then let's.
That's why we're having this discussion.
Maybe
Fair enough.
Because it's sort of like being a southerner, you're
We-
fixing to do it, you're
Yeah.
thinking about it.
Do we want to put it in the aspirational?
That's what I'm
Yeah,
thinking.
we
Let's
may
move
wanna
it
go
to
there.
aspirational.
Why
I
don't we
think
put
last
it in there
year,
right now in aspirational, get the research, start to
Yeah.
explore.
I think there's more work. I was hoping to do more work on it last year.
Cause this goes back to our last conversation with Dorothea of kind of trying to sync up every one of these line items
Yeah,
into some sort of reserve bucket.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Let me see that page, please. I don't think I have that. In my packet.
The printer was printing weird at the
Yeah,
end,
I don't-
end up on the page. And I apologize, because
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you
don't.
gotta
you burned out the
I don't
printer.
have it.
I
that's.
think I did.
I don't think I even have the.
I don't have it either, so I
I
don't
don't
have
have it, and
it.
I don't have the next one
We
either.
can share.
Right, so that's one we just talked about, yeah.
So software is an aspirational. architect software.
This negative down here, I miss it. It's from back here.
Yeah.
yes.
I'll clear it up.
So 2 questions that I have. All the roads that Jason and John have worked through in terms of that plan, plus all the vehicles that they've worked through in terms of that plan are all in this.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The 20, we're on 27, 28. At this point, you start seeing vehicles come in and you're just funding it out of general. You're not filling the reserve funding, anything else like that.
Yeah.
So for now, that's kind of as that is.
But if you look at you, because I don't have that one either.
Sure. So
I apologize.
You got it here.
But it didn't miss.
Village Hall, oh, I see at the bottom, Village Hall capital improvement plan, total $100,000, funding. Dorothea, going back to 26, 27 at the bottom in gray. Is this something that we already have the money set aside for? What's the, why is it down there?
What did you say?
It looks, so it's the 100,000, but we don't have the 75. The only one we have is the grant for 25.
64. It's taking it from the previous sheet.
Oh,
No, he's talking about the,
oh, this is the sum of.
yeah, it's just
above.
some of the above.
Oh, I was
That's
thinking
not-
it was the.
Oh, you were seeing it as a line
I
item.
was
Yeah,
seeing
yeah,
it as a line item.
I
yeah.
gotta fix it.
It's just some of the above. It's a sum of.
Yeah, okay.
I'll fix it.
So. If possible, have the sum of every year you do at the total end of the budget.
Yeah,
Like,
I-
kind of, you allocated DPW capital improvements and then Village Hall separately. That's why I'm seeing.
Yeah, it's, you know what it's doing is, it has the subtraction for the road repairs because it's more money in the
It's
account.
overfunded.
It's overfunded,
Yeah.
which we knew it would be with the bond, because we.
Oh,
just-
right.
But
Okay.
technically, it's not revenue,
Yeah.
so I'll make it zero out,
All
so
right.
it doesn't.
Because
affect
he'll-
tax.
But I'm understanding how this works.
Yeah, I'll get it.
So then in 27, 28, you don't have Village Hall capital improvement. It's just DPW,
Right.
Mhm.
right?
No, there is.
No,
Village
there's
Hall.
painting,
Next, yeah,
Yeah.
125,000.
yeah. And the window
I
restoration,
don't
yeah,
have it.
that's,
Yeah, see,
yikes.
27, 28.
these are two.
27,
items
28.
again,
I only have the,
This is our.
Well, I put it in, but it's.
So.
Is it aspirational
Sorry.
still?
How many-
Where are we?
How many pages for 27, 28 do you have?
Two.
Two, yeah.
One.
Oh my God.
I have one.
Can you share with me?
Here.
your site?
Here, wait a minute, let me get,
Maybe I can
Thank
get
you.
the same one.
Apparently, it does not like multiple pictures. I apologize.
Voters flush.
31.
So, we're-
It is clean what you have in your email.
okay, so. The village hall painting and the windows is not in the budget.
It's not
It's an aspiration.
It's also next, it's also.
I know,
27.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of in,
It's hanging out there.
it's, I think I blended it.
You wanted to be a
into next
placeholder
year,
somewhere.
But it's tough because these things, some of it, window restoration, we're hoping to find a
We're looking for
the
grants.
painting, again, they're.
So that was gonna be and I think I brought this up last time. This window amount, is this for all of the windows?
Yes,
Okay, is that assuming that we get the grant? So meaning net of a grant, or is this the total
no,
project?
this is, right now, there's no grant for that.
Okay, so we're assuming
This
the
is a
total
bid
cost.
that we received actually a couple of years ago, might not
Right,
even
and we
hold
got
up.
the amount then.
Yeah.
Because
Okay,
it's repairing all the windows and the grants we,
repairing, okay.
the grants we receive, they do
You're not allowed to
not,
replace, you have to repair.
No, you have to replace, no restoration.
Yeah, well, there's some of the grants.
Some of the grants. We haven't found the right
Hang on,
grant
yeah,
for
there's
this.
other grants out there.
Oh, yeah, there
We're
is.
just looking,
Yeah.
the grant, you're thinking of the grants that we're getting through
Right.
our
I'm saying
elected
the grants
officials.
we got.
There's other grants that we can get through, Preserve New York.
Reservation.
That's what,
That's really where we need to look. We're not gonna get it through our elected officials.
Right,
They have a different sort of
totally.
pot of money.
Yeah,
so our angle could be, we're trying to stay historic,
It
having,
has to.
Oh, yeah, no, it has to be. I mean,
Exactly.
we're a landmark building and it should be. So, it will be a restoration.
okay,
if I may, so if we could, next time that we print these out,
Yep.
right? We have a mark in budget, not in budget, because one of the things with the capital plan that is required is you have to have funding sources for the next 5 years. And so there's this sheet in the annual C that shows the tax increases necessary to pay for everything that in the budget are included in the capital plan. So one of the questions, Dorothea, I have for you is the things that we just mentioned as hopefully grant funding. When you put it in this capital plan, are you putting it in that we're gonna fund it with a tax increase? In year 2 or 3?
I'll tell you
Yes.
real quick.
I'm just looking at Dorothea because of the light. I'm just
Oh.
looking around her.
because you would want it to be as conservative as possible, assuming no grant.
Well, there's
Yeah.
2 ways to go. You put it in the capital plan and you fund it and you have to show a tax increase or a revenue channel to pay for
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
The second option is you put it in aspirational and you have the funding be grant funding.
I think
For the
probably,
whole aspiration.
So the windows just simply come out.
Exactly.
That is not a perfect way to do it,
And-
because we're gonna have to do it independent from getting grant funding.
That's right.
So I think you have to put these things in to the budget in future years and show funding potentially being taxes, right? Or something else.
Yeah, exactly. No grant, effectively assuming no
If we
grant.
get a grant, yay.
Yeah, so it becomes
You know.
the most like worst case scenario of cost.
Yeah,
because
you
your tax
can't,
will
you
have to
can't
go up.
count
okay,
on.
I will add this to the budget.
Mhm.
We'll look at the financial sheets and you'll see
Yeah,
where it's at and
Mhm.
the impact.
But it'll be 27, 28, and we can look at that number and say, that might be a big nut to swallow. Let's work hard to find some money.
Okay,
well, my philosophy is no matter what, always go for OPM, other people's money.
Okay, so then we're leaving it in there. So the critical items we're leaving in there. It is the grant that's aspirational, not the item that we know we have.
Mhm.
correct.
Okay. And the exterior painting, window restoration, 27, 28. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Now we're on to the few sheets for 28, 29.
We got those.
Oh, yeah, wait, let me make sure I get that page back.
Yeah, I have right here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
They're right here.
David,
Is
this it?
If you want, I'll have the sheets for you tomorrow. I'll read through them.
Okay.
I don't know why they went off.
Yeah, have it.
And I think what we're saying is anything that isn't in that long-term budget, how we're gonna pay for it, ends up falling into. Right?
Okay.
So
We
everything,
should,
yeah,
so we can always amend it when we,
right,
as we move forward, it's, again, it's a dynamic document.
Okay, so we're agreed, windows, all that going into the budget for that year. I will put it in, that's the only thing I didn't put in, because
Okay.
I knew those were things we were seeking grants.
okay, yeah, so until the grant's in hand. Put it in,
Okay,
But also the software, right?
the software's going to
it's
aspiration.
just going aspirational, that's just
I can
requiring,
get-
that's just a delay in productivity.
I need to
Until it happens.
really price it out.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, David, you. The point,
Right,
if we know we're gonna do it,
exactly. That's
if
the,
we know we're gonna do it,
We're not gonna do it this year.
no, but if we know we're gonna do
at
it.
some point,
Right.
At some point, let me get numbers.
Yeah.
I think it would be
What-
better added.
because otherwise we were cherry picking.
Yeah,
I think that is truly aspirational at this point until next year.
Well, why don't we then put it in 27, 28 as a line item as part of that budget, and if it shows us going from a, pretty steep tax hike, at least we know
What
this is gonna be a
what it would
problem,
be.
but it's in there and it's being
Okay.
funded by a source.
Okay.
I just don't wanna be sort of like parking an expense that we know we're gonna fund in an aspirational line item, that's not what I said.
And then this way we get everything that was in the long-term capital plan and we can work backwards from the worst case.
Sure.
That's right.
All right,
So-
I will make it happen.
Oh, these numbers are gonna be interesting.
Mhm.
Make
Well,
it so.
There's really no right way to do it otherwise.
There is no good way of doing it.
Well, I think the
That's-
bottom line is start with the truth and work from there, and this is the
Yeah.
truth of what we need.
That's right.
And then you go, yikes,
That's right.
and then you back out,
That's
you
right.
know,
Or you delay, or you
Or,
figure out.
you know, whatever it is, yeah.
Let's
Okay,
talk 28, 29.
got it.
You have your sheet for that? Okay, you do. You guys have that
Two
sheet?
sheets, right? Two sheets.
Yep, I don't know.
Parking lot restricting. It's here. That conversion. There's nothing in here that's, okay, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, this is pretty straightforward, actually.
Yeah, there's nothing major on that one.
Alright.
Okay.
So 29, 30. Street, vehicle. Refinish woodwork in front door.
Oh.
That's right inside it.
Yeah,
Okay,
and that's again a total guesstimate.
alright, as long as it's in the,
The wish list.
no, that's going, we're gonna do that no matter what, right?
We should.
Oh, yeah, it was identified, I think, 25 years ago.
Alright, put it in,
Yeah, because.
Yeah, That was a bureau assessment, yeah.
put it in, yep.
It's it.
3031, street, vehicle. And I think that's pretty clear cut.
There's nothing for the village hall.
31, 32. Roads,
Vehicle.
leaf truck,
Big truck.
yeah,
That's a 200 something.
Yeah, and that's not in the budget yet, because our budget sheets don't go that far out for the financial, because it's too far out.
it's,
It only goes 4 additional years.
right,
Wasn't it supposed to be 250?
220. Was it? It's
Sure.
220 on the sheet.
It says 220. That's what's here.
The 250.
And maybe by then it would be.
yeah, I
If
think,
we-
I thought the 252.
Okay, so let's
I'm
do
good with
250.
220.
Yeah, well, we all would be, but, you know, start with the truth and work.
Alright, so then our goal is in 5 years, have a reserve fund for vehicles worth 250.
Well, and the thought is you'll have the trade-in with the current vehicle, so maybe it won't
Oh.
be so bad.
Oh. Fair point. I think that you could, in the long-term capital plan, for vehicle replacement, okay? Start showing, I know nobody likes to do until the darn thing's sold, but you should show the value of your asset on a fairly low level as one of the mechanisms of funding. That way it doesn't all fall from general.
Okay, I can put in the funding what we anticipate to
Yes.
get when sale.
Yeah,
Yes.
which they do anyway.
Wait. So we're not, there's no residual value as a source of funding anywhere?
It's
Currently?
in the budget, yes, it is. Yes,
It's in the budget as revenue.
as revenue.
Ah,
But
okay.
you want
Because you
to,
never know what you're gonna
No,
get.
that's fair.
it's a projection.
But from a cash flow standpoint, I'm trying to think of.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
so this is fine, so. I'm okay leaving, it blank, come from general, when you're working the back end numbers in your revenue.
It's in there.
You're putting in some sort of money coming in reflective of the value of the used
What-
vehicle in the moment.
Yes, what they put in the equipment schedule, the number they give me, they anticipate that they'll get, that's in the budget.
Okay, because otherwise we'd be double counting.
Right.
if We did it somewhere else. So that's perfect.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this is where the green on the sheet's the money in, so you show the 75 in that forward plan.
Mhm.
Okay, good. Thank you. All right, so then this gets us to everything we just saw from vehicles are listed in the vehicle replacement multi-year plan.
Yep.
Well,
There's nothing there.
Nothing.
John and Jason worked through this. I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm not equipped to understand.
they know what they're,
Exactly, right.
Yeah.
You gotta lean in on the quality of their work.
yep, they're the pros.
Road maintenance.
So then road maintenance.
Same thing.
Sorry, just quick question. I realized afterwards, this multi-year plan previous.
That was what it
What was
was before they changed it.
Oh.
I think they were trying to show you what they did.
What,
Okay,
the
the
work, just
adjustment.
the work.
Okay.
If everybody's
itself.
good, I'll pull out the previous, so
Yeah.
it disappears.
Okay.
Yeah,
I like it staying in there for now. We
Okay.
get through the budget year, clear it out, but I think it gives us a good point.
yeah,
of
that's true.
reference.
You see sort of, you know,
Yeah,
what they're looking at.
and
Yep.
essentially it kind of shows like, where were we before and why are we doing something different?
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah.
It's helpful for me. I didn't have contact.
Nope.
I have a question on road ma- oh, go ahead. Sorry.
How are you?
Road maintenance. Is every road listed?
Yes, when I put it in, I try to list all the roads that are being done.
All the roads that
They're
are
being
being done,
done.
but not all roads are listed.
Why, do you want all? I'm not clear.
I'm kind of asking the question. All the roads that are not listed, they're good enough as is.
For 5 years.
They didn't make the list.
5 to 6 years, they haven't made
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, they haven't made the
And
list.
so one would believe to your earlier point, Mayor, that as these get done, they're good for 10, 15, 20, before anything else needs to be done.
Mhm.
So we'll just slowly work.
Yeah, they have a bigger sheet of all.
And another piece of this actually is, we're getting back on schedule for road work. So it'll become just this, it'll be just a cycle
Right.
Yep.
of every year, which is great.
Yep, agreed. And
Yeah.
so, just a comment, it looks like once we get done Sutherland, the average cost of this is 100 grand, 150 plus or minus.
Effectively stone and oil. And
Yeah.
But
Couple
oil,
million
there's a couple million paves.
There's a few
But we
million.
have to then start funding for the additional mill and pays or the
Yeah.
additional, full beds.
Yeah.
So that's where the reserve. Okay, fair enough. Road.
The only other thing,
Yes.
do we need to update this now for the Sutherland bottom?
Yeah,
balance the
I'll
price.
talk to them.
Well, they need to get us the numbers as we discussed before,
then-
so we can be more accurate.
Yeah, I
in
think,
terms
but what
of
you're seeing
reflecting.
though is, you're seeing the DPW original. sheet.
Exactly.
Yes,
So we need to
We'll
reflect.
do the
it.
update.
I'll-
Okay, so
I'll let
that's,
the DPW.
I'm putting that down as an action item.
And then this, I'm assuming this condition rating that they have for Sutherland is a combined condition rating, right? Because they have the same number. I would assume top versus.
I'm
bottom.
gonna guess.
They do the
Very different.
whole road, they do the whole road overall, I
Yeah,
think
it's
is
an
what it
overall.
is.
Okay.
This is my ignorance. In 2027, in the prior plan, we had church and locust listed. It said cores needed, possible full reconstruction, including drainage and curbing. And we noted 250,000 and 350,000 in 728. In the new multi-year plan, we show, locust, and it says mill and pave, 65,000.
Yep,
It's the same rating. It's not like we changed the rating of the road. We're just saying we can get away with a mill and pave. How long does a mill and pave last?
Oh, boy, I,
10, 15?
10, 15 years?
yeah, well, maybe not quite 15.
Yeah,
I would go with 10.
How long is a full reconstruction, including?
Oh.
20, 30.
Yeah, 20, 30, like with
But it
South
might
and
not
Wood.
need it.
It may not need it though. If the road bed is stable,
Sure.
why would we dig it up to redo it, if it doesn't need it? That's why we're doing the core sampling, because we'll.
Understood.
Yeah.
And why I reference that is locust turned to mill and pave. It
Mhm.
wasn't any reference of cores needed, possible reconstruction. It was just literal in the capital plan, mill and pave. So there's no
Mhm.
preparation for a $250,000 cost. We just sunk it in at 65, right? However, church, we kept the same terminology or needed, possible full reconstruction, including drainage and curbing. But we changed that cost from 350,000 to 65,000, even though the wording is the same, and it's 2 years later. So
Let's ask Jason about that. number.
Yeah,
Let's ask. I see where you're going with that.
I'm saying, like, if we're
Yeah.
gonna delay the
Mhm.
thing for 2 years, I mean, your odds of the bigger expense is probably greater than the little expense, but I suppose if we're gonna show the smaller cost, I want it to say mill and pave, but if they're thinking there's a possible reconstruction going on,
This becomes two.
that becomes 350.
Exactly. It's like.
Yeah, it might not match
Yeah.
up, so we need to,
Right.
that's
I'll
an
talk to
action
Jason.
item for Jason. On that.
Yeah.
Good catch, yep. Okay, what else?
That's, oh, yeah. Oh, Rand, sorry, did Rand do the same thing? Rand is stone and oil, so this is amazing. And again, this is just looking at roads and when to do them and what have you. Rand previously was 350,000 coordinated mill and pave and food drainage inspections. Now Rand is in for 28, 29 instead of
Mhm.
27, 28, and it just says stone and oil.
I think
For
these were
75.
based on the previous superintendent's projections, and they were reviewed
Mhm.
by John and Jason.
Perfect.
So it's been updated in a different way.
Yep, I just want to make sure
Yeah.
that if the stone and oil on Rand is leading to 6 years from now, a $350,000 expense. I know we're 5 years ahead. But I kind of want to think about 7 or 8 years ahead and start thinking about, do we need to fund some reserves?
When would we need a full
That's right.
reconstruction is really the question, I think, and I think that is a discussion with
Jason.
But I think that was kind of what I was thinking, these condition ratings. Who did these? Is this Jason?
Can't answer that question.
Okay, because to Dave's point, I see a condition rating for, for Rand and it's 72, but then Locust is 68, so not too far away, and it needs a mill and pave.
That would
Whereas
be-
the Courtney, Green Hill, Heatherhurst, Stone and Oil. they're all-
Yeah, again, this is all questions for, these
Yeah,
are great
these are all-
questions for
yeah,
DPW, so
Sadie's reading
we'll
this,
circle
yeah.
right back.
Okay.
And John probably weighed in on
Yeah,
that too,
So
so,
I
Okay.
can make sure Jason's at the next question.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yep, this is good.
yeah, or we could just put it out in memorandum from them,
Yep.
just so everybody's up to speed on that.
And then grant projects, I think that was all good.
Yep.
Mhm.
Aspirational, okay.
So do we have, someplace bathrooms shown anywhere?
Nope, I need instruction on this one.
So is that aspirational, or where do we put that? Because it's important. We need to really.
We're gonna have an executive session about a potential real estate deal,
Okay,
which is why our municipal attorney's here. We just need to kind of get through
Okay.
this and then we'll
So
circle
that's
back
that
on
on
that.
Could,
Yeah.
so independent from the real estate transaction or any of that, from a
Mhm.
budgeting perspective, I would suspect we'll get through the budget process perhaps before we have some finality on anything else. Might we want to put some dollar amount in, on an upfront basis, just to plug it, to make sure we have it in the budget? Or do we want to not do that?
I don't think there's solid numbers
We-
yet.
we- Yeah,
Might expose us.
we'll be
Oh, no.
able to discuss it, I
Okay.
believe, in an
Fair enough.
executive session,
And if
which would
it's-
be appropriate,
Okay, moving on. Oh, yeah, I don't know.
just saying.
Yeah. Capital projects,
Yep.
sewer, something wood.
Technically, both of these will be done, but I can't take them off because they're really.
We're not done. And these are active projects you're putting on here.
You're right.
Okay, great. This next sheet, the fairly complicated one with all the columns, if you look to the top right. We haven't gotten into the budget yet. But that was good. The top right number under 26-27, where you see 15, 5.5, 5, 5,
Mhm.
that's the tax revenue increase
Yeah.
necessary to fund what talked about. The one thing that is not on this sheet, I'm not sure where it is, maybe you know the number. Dorothea, what is the percentage of the assessment, or the
Equalization rate.
equalization rate? So I
Yeah, the
want
equalization.
you want to talk about that? You want me to talk about that?
Point,
I got the.
Yeah.
It's
most
perfect for everything.
0.57.
I'm just gonna state to the public.
Oh, gosh.
Right. If you went back 4 years ago and asked of the value of real estate in the village, what percentage was being taxed? The answer was 91%. So hypothetically, you're getting shorthanded 9% of what revenue you should otherwise get at fair market, full market value. Each year since, gone down to 0.82, 0.72, 0.66, and coming up 0.57.
Okay.
So as a percentage of fair market value, right? The only way we're addressing the need for additional capital with inflation, cost of labor, roads and improvements is through taxes, because we haven't seen a lick of it through assessments. And everybody who's listening, I don't know how many will, to this meeting, just remember, you'd rather have a tax increase than an assessment increase, because that affects every tax, not just this tax.
that's right. So there was a lot of thought that went into, or two options that we have, two levers that are available,
That's right, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so then, so this is the summary sheet that helps us understand what do we need to do in order to pay for what we put down.
Correct.
I'm just noticing this is 4 years projected. Do we have to do 5?
No, we have to do 4.
You have to do 4.
Yep, this is coming from the comptroller.
Okay.
This was their Excel sheet.
what was,
Okay. So
The rest is.
what was the unrestricted fund balance percentage before, like 70 or 80?
Yeah, we went to 66 for this year. We're projecting 54.8, but That's gonna change a little bit because we're gonna be using 110 to fund balance for the bathrooms, but we're also getting money back for South and Wood and other grant projects, so I see that level out.
Yeah.
I'm not too concerned on that because.
Yeah, it's kind of a.
Kind of coming in one pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just the timing of it, really.
And one other thing to point out on this sheet, to the extent anybody's looking at it, you see the unrestricted fund balance increasing at the same time surplus is increasing. Right, this is the bottom of that, and then you start to see the unrestricted fund balance coming down. That's as our confidence grows in the budget and the process of the capital plan, we're able to fund reserves and pull it from the unrestricted fund balance to then seed capital for everything we just talked about in the long-term plan.
And with this, when we had our meeting, we discussed the additional for South and Wood. I actually put that, you'll be happy, I put that in a reserve for infrastructure.
Oh, boy.
Wow, bold move. Okay.
It was bold, and I did increase the contingency.
Oh,
Yeah.
Because that was, the contingency went to 35,000, but it doesn't show on it,
yeah.
because it's part of an overall.
So Dorothy, I need to leave you guys. I'm sorry, I have a hard stop.
Lisa, if you need to go over any of this, just call and
I will.
be happy.
Quick question. Tomorrow, do we have a
I haven't,
Workshop.
agenda, we have a workshop,
12:15?
yep, 12:15, and we'll be talking the bicycles, and I believe Dave, you were adding something, and I'll send out that agenda.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. The next page was the sewer,
Yep,
and in this case, we weren't necessarily taking the unrestricted fund balance to fund reserves, we were frankly using the money to do things.
yeah, we are.
So we built bathrooms, right? We
Money's
bought-
gonna come out of the reserves from the bathrooms
Right.
this year.
Right.
The plan is to try to use when we can, some money for reserves out of it if needed.
Yep.
We have to work on leveling out our revenues and our expenditures. We get closer to that gap closes, but we've had the blessing of a healthy balance in that account for a while. But it's
Well, you're finally seeing sewer paying,
paying its portion.
yeah, it's kicking in, basically.
One question I have, maybe this is behind the scenes, it doesn't have to be embedded in what we print here, but is there any way in the long-term capital plan to indicate what the reserve funding source could be for those projects? So obviously roads are infrastructure, buildings are buildings, right? And then what we can do is we can just add up the next 5 to 6 years and say, okay, if this is our total, how do we get there with the dollar amount? And that basically becomes a budget plug. And then you disconnect the expense.
It's you split it pro rata into the.
That's right. That way you're not
Yeah.
oscillating with, right?
There is,
Just a
I can work at it.
maybe not for this budget season, but for next.
Yeah.
There's another way.
Maybe we would better software.
Yes,
Yes,
Okay,
heck yes.
but these are great.
This really helps,
Yeah.
because you know, you're
And
seeing the flow,
like I said, I fixed all the charts, so
Yeah.
they should be,
No, that's-
so reflecting what we're looking at.
yeah, when you get someone else's charts and they don't work right.
This last one here, this is a 4-year financial plan, fiscal years with the levy. It shows the levy and the assessed rates. This is where you find the 0.57 right in the middle for the equalization rate. I did the
Yeah.
math and I think it worked out to be, if we were at 91% equalization rate, if we wanted to have the same revenue,
Do I want to hear
our
this?
tax rate would be 3.7, not 5 points. I'm not suggesting we go down that far when everything works itself out.
Yikes,
It-
Oh, my goodness.
yeah,
Yeah, and it's sad to see the equalization rate where it is, because the next projection is like.
it drops off a cliff, basically.
So this is again, just a great opportunity to say that cost for operating a village, if done well using reserves, has a constant flow just generally with inflation over time, and reserve funding just pays for everything you need. So you just have this constant rate of slow growth equal to inflation. And then what happens is assessments sort of come up and down, and then you take your rate to even it all out. So
Mhm.
your incoming revenue stays constant with what you need, and you're changing either the rate or the assessment.
It's a smoothing.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's correct.
So.
That's right.
Yeah, we've had enough.
In a perfect world,
Right.
yes.
Well, right now we're smoothing it with
Yeah.
what we all.
Yeah, no, it's better.
And arguably, this has been a weird real estate market,
Yes.
right? So it is odd in the sense that like we had an explosion in this period, so.
That's right.
Yeah, but we haven't had an assessment in 7 years.
Well, exactly, and so the lack of
Yeah.
assessment during a
During like
huge
a cray, yeah, I know.
boom, you end up with this.
And even outside of real estate, just general inflation.
Okay,
Yeah.
so,
So now we've got the book.
Now you got the budget, you
Yeah.
have the numbers, I sent you guys the Excel sheets and if you really want to get crazy and play with the numbers. What I do have at the end of the big appropriation. So you can see where it ties to the multi-year plan. I have the summary of the numbers, so you can see how they plug in.
do we want to have just a mini pause here so we could do our exec, because
Sure.
our attorney's here?
Before we get,
Yeah.
You know, just before we get to the next
Is
phase.
anybody online?
we have one person.
Oh, wow.
Oh, impressive.
Well, yeah, let's do it anyway.
Oh, no, I lied. It's just me and me.
Oh.
Okay, then. Executive session.
Okay, so I make a motion, we go into executive session for the purpose of discussing a real estate transaction.
Second.
Okay, trustee Marshall,
Aye.
trustee Wells.
Aye.
Mayor Plummer.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay.
Give me a minute here.
Oh, how exciting.
like
can charge our
PC plug or
phones.
something like that, yeah. Well, like you could like.
I know, we do anything. Look at that. Well, it's a perfect.
They're actually good lights, but.
No, they're nice, they're just too big
Yeah,
for
but-
what we,
Okay.
yeah, we just would want a little micro light for people.
Okay,
We're set, captions, everything?
Yeah.
Okay, I make a motion, we leave executive session,
Second,
roll call.
okay, trustee Marshall,
Aye.
trustee Wills.
Aye.
Mayor Plummer,
Aye,
motion passed.
thanks, Jeff.
okay.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks for weighing in there.
So
Where are we here? Okay,
we're back to general budget. This
Yep.
is first round with the general budget. This is with the 15% increase, brings the budget up to 2.1. Right now in our current budget, this is as of December, let's see. Check that, but we're about 3/4 of the way through with our
Mhm.
revenues, and that's typical. I dropped a few lines down. I went up a little bit in sales tax. Gross receipts, I went up a little, not much. Franchise fees stayed the
Okay.
same.
What page are you on?
First one was
first
revenue.
page, yeah.
Oh, this is
Small.
revenue,
Yeah,
revenue. Okay,
Revenue.
thank you.
Let me see here. Yeah, there wasn't anything to drop. I think on the second page,
You went up on interest because the unrestricted fund balance is bigger.
we've been getting solid interest. It's been going up.
Yeah, it's coming down these days. I'm just wondering, do we have more money this year than we did last year?
This is half full.
Yeah, this isn't
We're at
reflecting. the full-
Oh, yeah, okay, okay, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I was looking at the 15 from 5.6 and you were very conservative then, so we're good.
I'm still conservative.
Yeah,
Mhm.
okay.
Building permits, I went up a little because we're at 15 halfway again. Let me see, anything else I dropped?
And there's
Yeah, there's mortgage tax I did drop. Oh no, I skipped it the same, the 30,
Yeah.
because we haven't gotten it yet. We still haven't received our allotments.
What is that from, new mortgages?
Yes,
In
there,
new mortgages in the village, what percentage do we get?
it's an overall
Okay.
fee we get, it's a
Alright.
percentage, the state, I can't
Okay.
say that, yeah.
Have there really been that many sales?
I don't think it's just based off the village, I think it's
Oh.
based off the profit,
Okay.
the sharing.
It's kind of like
It's
sharing.
kind of like
sales
sales
tax.
tax.
Sales tax, yeah.
Yeah, there's a mathematical equation there that
Got it.
is well above mine.
The very bottom item, the interfund transfer, that 30,000, the money coming from reserves, we did budget 60. So we're not using,
No, we
no,
budgeted
we're
30,
still gonna use the 60 for this year at some point, is that right?
we're not going to,
So we're gonna get to keep it in there.
yeah.
Okay, then this 30 coming out of reserves, just remember to point out where it's being funded later.
Yeah, well, that's coming out to pay for the repairs.
Yes. Okay,
Okay, so let's go to budget. Nothing
Um,
too exciting in here. I reviewed this with everybody earlier. I guess,
stop on page one, just a few things to clarify. I'm on page one of the tentative budget, looking down your change percentage. Thank you, by the way, for putting that in. That's very
Mhm.
helpful. That's versus budgeted, not expended. So just a couple things. The software support,
yep,
we had budgeted 12.5. It
yep,
was 27.
Yep.
In years prior is 21, 24. You're just kind of putting that to what we actually spent.
I upped it. We changed vendors. We had to add different things.
Yeah, we
because of
transitioned.
state requirements. The cost is going up. Matter of fact, that's something we're letting go negative this year
Mhm.
to see where we land. I'm taking a shot here because I have to have something to fill in.
Okay.
And as we've talked about, the one good thing, we can shift lines from other lines if we need to cover it.
Are there any of these vendors, do we have the ability to do a shared municipal agreement? Where we go to the town and say, hey, you use this software, could we be a user on that? We'll
It's
split
not,
costs.
this isn't necessarily software. This is our IT company.
The IT company. Okay.
Yeah, this is IT services.
And the village has its own internal IT department.
Yeah.
Or not the village, excuse me, the town.
Okay. So then, advertising,
Advertising is for your legal notices and all the other things that are required.
got it. And so you're just moving that up. So going back to the 25-26 budget.
Yeah,
To a degree, we were a little light on some things.
Yep.
But thankfully, we came in above still,
Yep,
but the tentative budget for next year is more accurately for.
Yeah, these I agree,
See.
these adjustments really
Yeah.
do reflect what's going on, which
Yeah,
is
why did
like,
it drop so much?
I know,
Yeah, I know.
incredible.
I drop where I can drop and up where I have it.
I know, it's wild. I'm
And
like
it-
going, what are you
In
doing?
some years, it feels like it's a crapshoot. I hate to say it because
Well,
I'm looking
you
at
don't
an
know,
interim number and then as I told you
You're
guys,
at
I tried.
Here.
Permits and things, you have no idea what.
I have no idea what's gonna happen and I'm looking right now. You say it's 75 Monroe, they're gonna have some more stuff. There might be a little more revenue there. I'm trying to. You have to guess what's possibly coming in.
Sure. I'm on page 2. The only question, I suppose.
It says estimate received. That's a lie. I haven't received my estimates from the attorneys yet.
Oh, yeah, they have to,
I request every year from our legal
Yeah.
counsel what they anticipate for the year. Those are still in question.
we have harder though in there too, right?
Yeah, and I always ask them
Yeah,
as
we have
well.
harder.
What was the records management, the personnel services
Records management is archives. It's,
archives? Okay.
Yeah,
that's our archives.
it's compliance.
It's a separate software. We're working on a grant right now. So
There was, wait, what was I looking? Do we? I'm wondering on the engineering. Yeah, we don't have anything on Sutherland. I mean,
No.
We're gonna have to pump it up.
right now we have 15 in general.
Yeah.
But I think actually that's all gonna be bonded.
Okay, all right, okay, just so
We'll pay for the
Because
expense, like we did
15K
something,
is
we
not gonna-
paid the engineering out of the bond.
okay, I
Well,
just wanna make sure we're
You can make the
Factoring.
decision not to, but
that in.
yeah, that's a good question, though. If we can figure out a way, once you get the estimates, to pay for the engineering out of chips and whatever's left over.
can't pay it out of.
Can't pay,
chips.
chips
Can't pay
can't
it
be
out,
used for,
yes.
for
So
engineering.
what's left over,
We could pay it out,
Yeah.
of
maybe,
which would be
Yeah.
all part of that.
or general, right? Like, I guess what I'm saying is, if we're spending money on engineering for Sutherland, we gotta show it in the budget, right? You're just waiting for the number. Why don't we, if we know we're gonna do it?
It's in a capital project, that capital
Oh, yeah.
project was
Yeah.
signed up to do any road
Right.
project, so it continues in that capital project. So any bills for
It shows up
Sutherland,
there.
I would just pay out of that capital project.
Out of that capital.
So she's effectively capturing all of that expense in that.
That if
Capital
it would
item.
be renamed from South and Wood, it would become
Sutherland,
Okay, how much, will we have enough in the capital project with a $950,000 bond and 275 of chips to cover the cost of the engineering and the road?
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
And then go back to the sidewalks, that's a matching?
No.
No,
No.
that's full.
Sidewalks is not a matching, sidewalks is a straight pay for. The
Great.
problem is we have to put it up
That's
front.
what I
in
meant.
front of
Sorry, not
money.
matching,
Well, that's
Yeah.
up front.
You pay up front,
That's one we would do a short-term ban.
then we band it,
Yep.
okay, great.
Yeah.
All right, and we don't have to show that because it's banded and it's
It's-
all. okay.
It's still high in the sky right
Yeah.
now.
I feel like I say the same things every single year, just to remember.
but you know, there's so many moving parts to these things, you know, because we're not.
I feel like I'm being tested, so I have to keep
I
getting this
no,
stuff.
I'm like,
there's so many
there's-
moving parts because we're
I know.
using different pots of money.
No, it is,
Get the
it's a bunch
project
of
done.
pots. Let's put it this way, if this project was a project that could be started on June 1 and would be done by May 31st, I'd rather run everything through the budget.
Yeah.
But since it's not,
No.
and it doesn't have that,
Think of it as 3-card Monte.
it doesn't stay in its own budget.
Yep.
It's just like it's over here, then it's back here, and
Yes,
then we
it
get
is
the
on the
reimbursement.
capital.
You're doing a good job explaining it, and every single year, it's just good to kind of repeat.
No,
I know these things in there.
It's weird accounting,
I'm just.
because you're also not thinking about like thinking about it from a profit.
No,
So it's
No.
constant matching and everything.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
No, actually, I can delete the contractual for Southern Wind off the sheet because it's not gonna go.
because it's not at all.
yeah, so I just wrote down move capital project.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's,
These
okay.
two I show for keeping the line numbers.
Mhm.
There's money in those lines that were
Mhm.
used in past years.
All right, so now I'm on to page 3. I've got special items, public safety and safety inspection.
what is the shared service town and school? Is that the?
That's our guys working and assisting the towns. And yes, it
It's
shows.
an intermunicipal agreement.
It's part of our intermunicipal agreement. They help us, we help them.
Wait, who's this? The shared.
So-
Mhm, yeah,
And actually, we.
Shared service,
Some
that's
money in
easy.
there.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
It's,
we don't have,
it could be we help them with street sweeping, or it could be go help them on a break.
yeah, why did you zero it out?
Okay, remember the conversation we had? No. When I
don't
do
remember.
the labor, if you go to page
Oh,
4.
Oh,
labor,
yep,
okay,
yep.
it's labor, that's
All
right.
right.
Oh, it's the labor line, yeah,
Sorry.
okay,
Single label on it.
yeah, gotcha.
It gets appropriated at the end, because it's too hard to keep.
Yeah.
How do you,
pressing it
you know,
Yeah.
Until we're set,
Okay, sorry.
yeah,
so.
So this is, Mary, we should probably take a pause and just have like a heart to heart on the line, 2 lines below that. I know. So to the public, that line is grant writers.
yeah,
Last year, we put 15,000 in for grant writers, and every time we come up upon that, and look at that expense, we say, boy, we got some roads to do and some trucks and vehicles to buy. And every year that grant writer just kind of gets pushed off a little bit.
mhm,
I don't know the degree by which you all want to put it in. It is 15 grand is 1.5% additional tax increase, 10 grand for 1% is what you get. Right? And so I'm looking at it, we didn't spend it this year. I mean, I don't want to take the political fall for saying, we don't need any grant.
no, no,
We
but.
need grant
But
writers.
let's look at it, you know, sort of what it means when, if we were to use a grant writer.
Yeah.
Like, so we spend 15,000 and maybe we get, you know, a $150,000 grant, that's a pretty good investment.
So I
Yeah.
like that.
But,
The only problem I have
Yeah.
is more so from the standpoint of, and I don't
Mhm,
know what a
mhm.
grant writer goes for right now. I'm trying to think of like, it doesn't seem like that much money. Like,
Oh,
I don't know if
no,
I would
it-
wanna
it-
do that
it's-
for.
and this was, I think, you know, where that figure maybe even came from is that we would try to do as much as we could internally,
In-house,
Right.
okay.
as much as we possibly could. Um,
And then have a consultant review.
and then just have a set of eyes, somebody, a professional who could do that review work before the submission.
Mhm.
And what has been helpful, and I think, between Laura and Alexandria, you know, we have a grant calendar now, you know, everything's sort of being tracked on a calendar. The problem is the ability, when they have so many other responsibilities,
Mhm.
to, my favorite word, pounce. You know, there's another grant that's due on April 15th that I would love for us to really take a look at. It is a transportation grant.
Well,
I
there's
sent
one
that
you
to
sent to
you.
me. I think there was one that is due like March.
And-
And I was like, oh.
I know, yeah, you know,
It was coming up.
yeah, so that's what
It
we
was like a
started.
month.
Just so you understand the cycles of this, you guys, because you kind of see the same grants every year. So I said, let's start a grants calendar. So maybe we could periodically regroup and say, oh, this is coming up again. Because you forget, you know,
Yeah.
you're in the middle of everything. Because the windows are so narrow. And that's why professional grant writers, they know all of this. They're ready to pounce. And then if, you know, when, I don't know if you had a chance to speak with our fellow from Siemens, you know, Chris.
Yeah, I sent him a note, I haven't heard back.
Oh, okay.
Actually, did I? No, I did, and I gave him some dates.
Oh, okay. So that's where he can say, we got this. We know this grant cycle. We'll be on this grant for you for, I don't know, solar, you know, whatever.
For them, the structure is on the back end.
Yes, yeah, you know, they take a piece of whatever cost savings you have. Yay. So for us, we may be able to start to pounce a little bit, you know, because so many other things are smoothing out with the planning. But I would sort of like to see a little something in there. Just
So-
saying,
Here's my thought on
as a
the grants.
possibility, or does it
In the
just
long-
come out of general?
Well, it could come out of contingency, that's where it
For
was.
contingency, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that'd be better.
I mean, it could be one of those things, hey, how are we doing on the year? We gotta apply for a grant, let's get a consultant, we have 2,500 or $5,000 for somebody to look through it. Again, I don't mind putting it in necessarily.
See where you're going though, because we just,
The other thing is too, is I think to the extent we wanna look at certain grants, we
Mhm.
should put in our aspirational line of long-term capital
Mm-hmm.
plan, the 1 or 2 things or 3 things that we really would like to get grant funding for.
Mhm.
For me, like what pops to mind is RG&E covered, bus stops,
Mhm.
right? Something that's facilitating more transportation into the community, or it could be
or for restoration of our windows.
sidewalks
Mhm.
or windows. But the windows we're gonna do anyway. We might not do covered, spots for bus stops, or we might not do certain sidewalking.
Okay, well, we can come up with a list then, I guess, you know?
But to the extent that you're thinking about what grants are available, you
Mhm.
may know, more of those, or Dave, you might see them they come across our email. Let's jam some of those into aspirational lines, and then we know. Maybe we're connecting the two, the calendar with the aspirational.
I was gonna say, I think it's a combo of the two.
Yeah.
Because that's very helpful from the standpoint, the state seems to constantly
Right,
have the same schedule. All right, here's we're ending up for next year.
yeah.
It's the same project, or same
Yeah, it's
name of the
worth, you
grant.
know, plugging it all in.
And if we can
it's
get ahead. and start
totally
doing some of the,
You know, we have a very small staff, as you know, so any help we
Well,
can
if,
get.
and to your point, if you can have something identified ahead of time to say, all right, well, at a minimum, we now know this is where the project will go. We've done enough background work to explain this is the problem, this is why we would be able to use this money, or whatever it may be.
So far, it's been the mayor. Because like when I saw, Hope
Yeah.
came through with those funds,
Mhm.
and I thought, geez, we just had the bike, legislation. We're looking maybe at what was in the active transportation plan for alternative routes for the village. That could be maybe funding for Sharrows or for other signage or,
Mhm.
Do we have like a central, or like something that maybe Alexander's, like a central Excel or something of like the date?
yeah,
and,
it's
like-
called the grant calendar that I asked them to set up my first year in office.
Okay, 'cause I was gonna say,
They
maybe
know about that.
as we're going through and as we're
Yes.
thinking about things, is it okay if we send those to her?
Send it, yes.
Say, hey,
It's on the end drive.
here's this project and here, here's a new grant, you already have this in the system,
Mhm,
and so we can.
I
work
do
together.
that all the time. I'm like, hey, these funds are, bet you was copied on that.
So if we are paying somebody to review rather than paying somebody to do the work, do we put $5,000 down and just see if we spend it next year?
How much is it, what was the tax increase?
1% for every 10 grand.
Okay.
Hmm.
So if you do 4%.
Or does it come out of contingency as needed?
How big is the contingency?
Well, I increased the contingency, initially my contingency was at 20, I increased it to 15,000, so I put.
So it's up to 35?
Yes,
So.
Maybe we leave it out and we do a decision as we go.
Yeah, that's where I'm kind of going at this point. I see, because,
But it sounds like it would turn into that anyway.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
Or I guess it's just looks so stark, right, to not have it in there, knowing that
well,
we.
but I mean, part of a budget presentation is, as needed, we do have contingency funds if opportunities come up.
Sure.
That's always part of a presentation. You're gonna, I want to explain why we did take out the grant funding on this line. It doesn't mean that we won't be doing it. It's just we're looking at a different mechanism.
But keep 10 in and take 10 off contingency.
Contingency.
contingency is too low.
It-
I'll tell you,
it is.
contingency is too low right
All right,
now,
all right.
but if you wanna take 10 on, because
Couldn't you do maybe 5 to grant and
Do I
then
hear
make
right?
it 30? Well, then, I'm just saying, then you've increased contingency by 10.
It is,
And
we didn't
doing
want, we didn't
5.
use it. We want to use it. We want to dedicate capital. In worst case, you do a budget transfer.
Well, then, yeah,
Okay.
then just keep it in contingency.
Okay,
No, do a budget transfer from grant
from
to.
grant.
Oh, that's.
Go the other
Yeah,
way.
yeah,
So
yeah.
show 10.
Yeah.
Show 10, take it from contingency.
forget it's all
Worst case,
mine.
Do a.
Well, it's all fun.
What I'm saying is, we've got this contingency pot, but we're already starting to identify what we think we're gonna use it for. That's not what it's for. So let's be a little more honest. We'd like to do it for grants. We'd like to catch up to that. If we don't use it, we don't use it.
I'll throw 10 in there, I'll deduct 10 from contingency.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Okay.
Okay,
Moving.
okay, what's next?
Street maintenance. In street maintenance, roads personal, 298,000.
That's just labor,
That's the labor that's not allocated.
correct?
Okay, thank you. Vehicle equipment repairs and maintenance, that's 50 from 25. The 50 is,
Reflecting the additional third, the additional we're gonna pay out in cash, and I have to show the expense we're using the reserve.
so that's a 30 and 20
Yeah.
from cash.
Yep.
Okay, and the road work, that's just standard.
Mhm,
Standard.
that's separate.
All right, and DPW unallocated, so it's kind of hard to see the big difference there yet.
What, sorry, going back to street maintenance, the rentals that we do,
Uh-huh.
what? What is that? Because also, like, how did we not have any cost in 24 and 25?
Because it was new line, it was just.
Yeah, we never had
Oh.
a line. It would have
It
been.
might not have been.
So we broke it out.
appropriately. It might not have been charged appropriately, we might not have had a rental, it could be if they went out and bought a grinder, or if they needed something to do with the road work.
Yeah,
It was
sometimes it's a
something-
piece of specialized equipment that we don't really need to buy,
Okay.
like when we go.
It'll be a lot.
Like, we've only
Yeah.
spent $400 this year.
Yeah,
I keep a little in there because, again, I did reduce it a little bit because I can shift it to other lines, so.
Cause I was gonna say, that's nice. I mean, at least right
That's
now,
why I dropped it.
7,000 is
Yeah.
there. We've only used 400.
So I,
although.
but I'm halfway, spring isn't here, and they do a lot of work in the spring.
Because the sidewalks are taking a beating.
Yeah.
I know, I was already thinking about that.
Yeah.
They're gonna be grinding.
Do the chips unused accumulate?
Yes, they do accumulate, there's always the concern that the state
gonna
will
take-
take what isn't been used away. They haven't done that, it's always a threat. That's why, when I talked to Jason, we were looking at the road projects, I really think we should use them, because even
It's in our best
oil and
interest.
stoning, technically, let's say we have the action, we can take it for the oil and stoning for Shane, anywhere we do the road project.
So theoretically, if the state needed to plug a hole somewhere, they
They could
could
take.
steal.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
oh, yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Could you then,
It's
we
there
don't,
until it isn't.
so we don't show revenue from chips nor expenses to chips. Do we want to show on next year's budget that coming in?
We can make the budget adjustment during the year. I mean, right now, it's not there.
What's your thought behind it?
Well, but wait, isn't
Talk me through
it, should we treat chips like a revenue and
You would. You
but
would.
isn't it more of, I mean, it's a
No, it's there. It's
balance sheet thing.
No, it would be a revenue, it'd be cash back.
Same
So-
way-
Oh, aspect, okay, I got you, I got
So you put it, you technically would put it in.
you. You
the
have some
budget,
matched expense and then.
Right.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
I got it.
But
it zeroes out.
But- we were kind of holding it for Southern.
So you're thinking, keep the chips in with the capital project, not with the general, and we're gonna fully use it up.
Because
Oh,
we
yeah.
have
It sounds
plenty
like-
of road money we
Yeah.
can cover.
It sounds like at a minimum, the 275, oh, probably in the first phase.
Well, it's,
Or something like
yeah, well, there's 80 minus 80, so it's about 150.
The reason
that.
why,
Okay.
yeah, the reason I was asking is, Dave, you were looking back at the prior years, and in the prior years, there was a little note for chips coming in. And the fact that we're not having it come in 23, 24 at the,
Yeah, we didn't do it. We pulled the project.
yeah, you're not-
Mm.
I don't know where,
Because we were at the
keep
time,
going, Nick.
we were using.
That-
What page?
What page is it?
Page 4.
No, keep looking forward, right? You're on the right page, Mayor.
Oh, okay.
At the bottom.
Bottom.
At the bottom.
Yeah, I'm staring, I keep seeing it, yep.
Okay,
Gotcha.
23,
okay.
24, we had planned to use it by a vehicle and we were gonna do a little bit of road maintenance. We pulled back on that. We did not.
Right. But here, the reason why chips isn't coming in is because we're allocating the capital project, we know we're gonna use it.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
So it shows
not
up.
part of this budget.
There's already a
Shows up in the
match
capital.
thing.
Yeah, it's not.
I think like sort of, I was like, and this is helpful for me, you guys, because you're the finance people, is. It does show up, but we didn't identify capital projects specifically until recently, because we didn't have any.
And the other
And
thing you
so
could
now
do,
it's like, where did it go? Oh, yeah, right, we're doing the capital.
and what you could
project.
do is an actual budget for your capital project. We've never really done that. We just allocate, it's so much road work. And that's what it's
Yeah.
showing, engineering.
Just the
road
whole
work.
line.
So it's not really.
Yeah, it's money in, money out. The
Mhm.
most important thing, though, when you're running these capital projects is that if there's any overage that spills under the general, you better know in advance or not do the project.
Well, that's one.
Like change orders and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why you watch those change orders.
Yeah.
And we did well when we
we did know
to
about.
cover
Yeah.
expenses, because I went back today and I was
Alright, so all this is pretty straightforward.
You're looking like, oh, shh.
like,
First one.
that's first thing on my
It
notes.
is. Great, good.
Oh, you know what? I mean, this is something we really won't know, the village-wide street lighting, because remember, they're gonna be redoing the lights.
Yeah,
What page you on?
But-
it's on page 5.
Yeah, I mean,
522.
Oh, there are numbers on the left.
yeah, and
Thank-
little
all right.
little bitty numbers, I know. It's-
Thank you.
We just won't know, though. We're
We
not gonna
won't
know. Yeah, okay.
It should reduce.
I know, but we can't count on it at this point.
Right,
Yeah, so
well, that creates a little extra that if we have it at the end, we reserve fund it or.
There you go, comes in over the transom, as they
It
say.
does. I mean,
Yeah,
The best thing about what we're doing now is anytime there might be a little extra money, right? We can plan conservatively, we have a place to put the
Mhm.
excess that we definitively know we need, and we're currently not overfunding by any means.
no, gosh, no. No, if anything, I hate to say it, I underfund things.
Well,
they're conservative.
I'm very
no,
concerned,
in that instance, yes, I understand.
but I could actually plug more in, but we've been very good on our spending as well.
Mhm,
Hey, question on page 5,
mhm.
just literally a question. What happened to DPW utilities in 24 and 25? Why is it just crazy compared to?
Because it's a shift, it's a new
okay.
line, because we used to pay it out of our general utilities, and then it,
Yeah,
when you're trying to get a run rate for DPW and the changing of things, and again, I have to look at that line.
okay.
I wanna make sure
It's accurate.
it's accurate,
Yeah,
because, you
So I
know,
just want to make sure that whatever this
I-
projection is makes sense.
because only.
It makes sense, but I also know I can shift if needed.
So yeah, I'm with you here. I wouldn't mind just looking at what we've spent so far, 6,094. That's the 78% of the total. 22 goes to sewer. That's gonna work out to be a much bigger line. I think that 7 should probably be closer to, I don't know, 12.
Yeah.
Uh,
And
Oh, I
in the
see.
same issue, as you look down for village-wide street lighting, do we like, have we talked, does RG&E like give us any heads up in terms of, because 5% just as a homeowner seems light in terms of like
we have to do
utility.
lights, though.
Yeah, but we're getting new lights that are more
Oh,
energy.
right.
That's why I brought it up, that
Never mind.
Yeah.
hopefully it's, we're not gonna get totally dinged the way I just paid my utility bill.
Okay.
And I also look, and again, I have under lighting repairs, I have 10 grand, and we've been very lucky with our repairs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and actually, we absorbed, you can see it earlier on, we absorbed a lot of costs, the repairs early on, and so now things are straightened out.
And I got supplies,
Amazing.
again, that can shift up to you.
Yeah.
Right. Could you do this? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, just one more thing on the garage with DPW was the highway garage maintenance. What is that?
Highway garage maintenance is any work being done. So this year we had anticipated doing the loft and fencing. So we put that money in there. It didn't end up being used, and it's not going to be used.
The fencing will, this coming,
But this year, there's very minimal, so I need to put something in there in case a heater goes or something like that. That's,
Okay.
that's
So
like,
that one seems like, yeah, I see.
yes,
it will be.
and
It will be.
because maybe, I don't know if you were part of that discussion or not, the loft in the garage was originally, way back, was gonna be put into like offices.
Yeah.
Now, because the bathrooms are built, they're repurposing that area on the first floor. So now it can be 100% storage with proper inventory up there.
Okay.
So it's fabulous.
So it'll save on that end.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like village hall maintenance line, you'll see that do this.
Yeah.
It's hard to,
Because if we anticipate a major improvement, it's in there, but
Yeah,
got it.
Dave?
Yeah, well, to that point though, the major improvements get funneled in through the capital plan and funded with reserve.
Mhm.
Maintenance and repair, but to fund the utilities at 12,000 versus 7, I would
Uh-huh.
recommend you take 5 from paid time off and bring it to 30. Unless you have some understanding, because we're only spending 18 so far.
But you're at half point.
We're at half point.
That's just as of December.
Mhm.
So technically,
Going through May.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I think there's room to pull from diesel.
I wouldn't say that. You haven't gotten through winter.
Well, but haven't we also switched some of, like, certain vehicles that we have aren't diesel anyways? We were getting the gas ones because they're.
Because the gas.
I'm already at
gas-
4,000 and I'm not through winter.
Gas lines.
I wouldn't change it right now,
I wouldn't.
All right,
just because of the.
so let's just
Yeah, okay.
go with, we leave it as is, take the step to
No.
12, add 5.
I can take it. I'll tell you where I'm gonna take it.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. What else?
Nothing here. I increased road salt because our road salt came in higher
Yeah,
past year. I really want them to get on the right cycle.
Let's.
Nothing crazy.
oh, yeah.
Are we on 6 or 7?
Run
Six.
6.
6.
Six.
Okay.
Nothing really here.
No, nothing really there.
Oh, did you see Vicky's report,
Yeah,
this historian's report?
glanced at it.
Okay, well, we should send it to the board or something.
Oh.
Just for me.
That's 7 of 9. Remind me the Gaston Award?
Oh, that is,
Oh, I know.
from
it.
HPP for,
Yeah.
yeah,
What about-
homeowners.
Yeah, that is also both Gaskin and I need to cross add to this. This is window assessments. And we
What?
have, if someone's replacing their windows.
Yeah.
We pay for an
It's like
assessment.
consulting, no,
The
a consultant goes out and looks at windows.
Goes
for
out and
homeowners.
consults to make sure if they come in to say they want to replace it, that it's not a repair.
Is that paid for by the village?
It's been paid.
And
for by the-
we've talked about this and we need to revisit this.
Yes,
It's a
and this
good
has
gift.
been standard practice and it's getting expensive.
Because I'm thinking about changing my windows this year, so.
This
Might need to do that early.
is that contractual HPV 2,500.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So that's paying someone,
to go to someone's house and make sure that.
Yeah,
window-
it's a preservation architect, sometimes it's somebody from Bureau, or, I think we now are, one of our consultants is Maggie Nearing with Bergman.
For replacement or repair?
They,
to confirm that.
they make that determination,
Yeah.
because they have professional expertise in preservation. So it's not the homeowner going, hey, I'm doing the vinyl. They're like, these windows are great, this is all you need to do.
Right.
One
It's
is
an
that,
outside source that isn't paid by the homeowner, but it's paid by the village, so we're getting.
Yeah, it's interesting because if we don't do it, then they have to do it. Somebody comes and says, hey, I've got some old windows, I want to replace them, as every window seller would want to do. And then we basically always send it back. Okay.
we have
get-
absorbed the cost traditionally.
Because we've been doing it, I don't know, I guess I'm okay.
Well,
I think that's
Yeah.
a small,
first of all, I think we're a preserved community.
yeah,
Yeah,
And it is an underpinning of our code. And so I think it is, and this is, I'm sure Jeff Turner could also speak to this.
Oh, yeah.
100%, just saying, this is something that helps to preserve the integrity of a village that's on the National Register. So there is continuity, consistency.
Yeah.
With how we are managing and these assets within our community.
Yeah.
That's
like I know for myself, I would love to have someone come out.
Oh,
and say,
yeah,
Look,
yeah.
you don't need to fully replace these
Yeah.
things, just,
Yeah.
change these full core
Yeah.
things, but I don't know that, and
Yeah.
other homeowners sure don't, so to have that.
And also traditionally,
It's
because
great.
historic Pittsford, at least when I was on the board, they would, every new homeowner, would get free consulting. For, a half hour, I think it was, and I think it was a deal they struck with Bureau. And a preservation architect could come out to your house and you could ask them any question, it's like, oh, I wanna take out these old doors, and they could say, you know what? This house is of a certain period, certain time, this is how you could restore, they give you, I did it with my house. Yeah, and it was great, they kind of give you sort of the big overview things you could change or how you could do it or not.
And I think an application has to be in and paid for
Yeah.
to get it.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, it
Oh,
does,
gotcha.
yes, it's part of the
Right.
application
Got it,
process.
got it.
It doesn't just happen.
Right.
Now, Historic Pittsburgh is just simply, you don't have to have any application. It is,
Yeah.
it was, at least in the past, I know, a service that was provided, which I thought was absolutely fantastic.
It's providing and
Yeah,
and biased
yeah.
opinion for the board to make a determination.
Yeah, it was an educational opportunity,
It's the-
definitely.
It's being used more now than ever.
Yeah,
Than
No,
we've
it's
seen.
just okay.
yeah.
That's fine. What is street cleaning supplies?
Brushes.
Oh, they go through
lubricants,
brushes all the
special
time.
Different things.
We haven't spent any money yet, though?
They might not have needed brushes yet. It
It's,
might be a spring thing.
yeah,
Was that, we went from nothing to 800 to 5,500. Is there a reason why with them not spending any money on street cleaning supplies that we
They-
said 5,500?
This is one of those lines, because there's a couple that popped in my head going, I'm sure they bought brushes this year. Where I need
Lumped
to go
in.
and see if it was charged to another.
Yeah, this seems like things are just moving from buckets.
So one of the things that we passed last year, Dave, you were here then, we, within each of these little sections, Dorothea has the ability to shift money around without talking to us, right? And I think the maintenance and supplies for street cleaning, given that there's nothing allocated, I would bring that down materially, until somebody can rationalize an expense.
Well, my question would be, where is this?
hang on,
Sorry.
Dorothea, pipe in, please.
Okay, maintenance is if the sweeper breaks down, it has to go and be fixed. Maintenance tends to be very expensive on sweepers. So.
Let's fund it from reserves and make sure we have it.
No, you don't wanna take,
No,
you
not
don't wanna
from
take a
reserve.
couple thousand out.
You don't
of it.
wanna do a
A
repair.
couple thousand, but $8,000.
You're not,
Wait,
breaks-
keep going.
it breaks down once, then it breaks down again. You put in enough to cover a couple breakdowns. That's standard budgeting. The
That's not a
sweepers,
capital
the
improvement
brushes
coming
can
out
add
of
up,
reserve.
depending. I have to go back and check and see if Francine inadvertently put the supply line.
Oh, she, yeah,
It might have
okay,
been-
double check with Francine.
Cause I'm surprised to see it is.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that something's off here.
But
Sure.
your maintenance and also
Very
your.
nice.
So that's the action item.
Your sweeper's getting older and it's very more likely, if it is a major break, like let's say it was 20,000 for an engine, yeah, I'm gonna come. to
Then
you
it's an
and say,
equipment reserve.
We should think about this more so as like an oil, if for a car, an oil change versus a new engine.
Correct.
Mhm.
And I would look at it as a minor repair.
Yeah, okay.
I'd also look at it, you got it funded.
Mhm.
Worst case scenario, it comes back, you've used 300-400, this and that, it moves to another line and covers your negatives. It's not
It's within.
better
the-
to fund it than not fund it.
Yes,
Okay.
I would 100% agree with that,
Okay.
knowing how many breakdowns we.
Okay.
have
I
got.
mean, the last.
We're not
years,
through the
and
whole
understand
year.
This is new lines and it's still
Yeah.
people getting used to charging them to it.
That's true, because the lines were not expanded.
No, there was no
until a
lines
couple
for
years
that.
ago.
Mhm.
So you would just see street cleaning and then a number. You would just see the
Right.
category and a number.
It was.
So now
I think
you're
what-
really having, you're seeing how this is shaking out.
I think what you're asking is effectively, it's so detailed for 2024 through 25, and it's a small number. If compared to what's happened this year. But again, it's the fact that it can be moved, fine, so.
Yeah.
Like, whatever.
Here's the goal, right? We want 5 people on a board to look at this budget and the public be able to look at the budget and say, okay, my taxes just went up by X or what? Why do we have what would be 1.3% additional increase with nothing expended?
But no, but I think the action item that we walk away from
Yep.
is having a better understanding of what's the run rate on those things,
Mhm.
right? Because then you can come back and say, look, is 8,000 right, or is it really 4,000?
Yes.
So Jason, I feel like can probably
Yes,
Right.
zero in on the
And
two.
it may be shifting some of the things that have funneled through the budget for this year and allocating costs
Right,
from one
and I
thing
think
to
I
another.
said, I need to take a look at those
But
five.
but to that point, here's the other thing, if by allocating some of the things that we've spent money on, they go here, they're coming away from somewhere else.
Right,
Yeah.
those lines could be
Yeah, which will
overextended.
help us
Yes.
back
Yeah.
here where we
which
had
is
the
the
one
point
shortfall.
of the whole thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're,
I mean, just to even be able to transfer within the
let me put
category.
it this way, we haven't hit it, in the flowers, we did hit it. there was a line, Francine did a fabulous job. She mischarged it to the wrong line. It actually should have went somewhere else. That line was overexpended. The line it was supposed to be was underexpended. It fixed.
Got
So
it.
that's why I want to take another look.
Yeah, let's
Okay.
circle back.
This drainage, personal services, same sort of thing there,
Same sort of thing.
right? Shade trees, we haven't bought trees this year, we should probably. buy some.
Yeah, we have.
We have?
Yep, we bought trees this year and we're teeing them up for the spring as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
it just hasn't hit.
It just hasn't hit. Okay, thank you. The arborist, a little light, but we want to keep that. Was there a reason we bumped it up? Because we were thinking about maybe the tree legislation and having an arborist? Or?
Well,
Yes.
also because we're a tree city
Mhm.
and we're part of, being a climate smart and clean energy community. We should have an arborist,
Mhm.
And then we agreed on the one street with that one tree, Maria Murillo's tree, to have the.
Oh, yeah,
arborist come out
every year they
check
have
it.
to assess it because the
Okay.
tree's dying.
So that's not too high? These numbers aren't too high?
No,
I don't think so.
no, I don't think so.
Wait, going back to drainage,
Yeah,
is that drainage like thinking about the perimeter of Village Hall? Or is that drainage from the standpoint of like,
that's
Street
more
level.
storm.
Storm drain.
Yeah,
okay,
catch basins.
is this,
Mhm.
is there a reason why general fund covers so much of this as opposed to sewer?
Stormwater is not sewer.
No, it has nothing to do
Sewer
with
is
it.
sanitary.
Yeah, you would see it under, I know, believe me,
Well, some of that.
I know.
that's-
We
Never mind,
love sewer. I know,
No.
trying to find a way.
I know.
I will point out, with this year starting, we had superintendents change, things
Yeah.
changed, so where they were working, and I don't know if they
Yeah.
eventually were charging their time appropriately.
I think we're gonna need to circle back and make sure.
We're working with that, and we're
Okay.
checking those codes, because I have.
Yeah,
concerns
I
when
think there's-
I have concerns when I see zero.
Yeah, and also, yeah, anyway, we'll sort it. Okay, good.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm on to the next page, right? Eight
You're
or
on
nine,
eight or nine?
eight of
Eight
nine.
of-
Oh, eight of nine.
So employee benefits, the big increase there is New York State.
Yep,
Oh,
You
yeah.
gotta keep that.
and
Okay.
that's estimate from the state.
Yep, so debt service, we've got the existing bond principal and interest.
Yep.
And then we have Sutherland bond principal and interest and anticipated truck principal and interest. Right now, there's nothing in there.
Nope,
What's the reason?
Is that the whole like double payment?
nope.
No,
Oh, it's just, what's the reason?
The reason is there's no money. B, the bond hasn't hit. So the
Yeah, there is.
bonds will hit next year, which would put the first payment in the following budget. So we didn't have it. But
Oh.
where I put it, because you wanted to get something in there to help cover this.
Yes, please.
If you go to your very last page on 9,
Mhm.
in infrastructure reserve, I put 101,000.
Oh,
wait a second.
Like, you had at one point, maybe it was last year, did you have a debt service line?
Yeah, I did, and I thought, instead of creating that contingency, let me throw it in an actual reserve, because I know you love the reserves. So,
Not for debt.
Well, I understand what you're saying.
because I'm
Saying,
going
no,
to
we
it,
have to
I
pay
was
it.
thinking it's Sutherland, it's actual infrastructure, I was kind of tying it like we did with the
But
other.
I
seeing it as paying down.
But
at
I
that.
think, yeah, present the presentation.
Yeah.
So you want me to throw it in that extra contingency line? That's fine.
Throw it in.
Oh, extra contingency.
Throw it in a debt service and rip it out, because what I want, here's what I really, really want, right? Everybody looks at this last line, says, okay, here's where we're at. I see the tax increase. What are they funding for reserves for all these future projects that they're always talking about? Classes go on, 35 grand. Wait, aren't they stealing 30 grand to buy something? So really net, it's only 5? And the 101 isn't even there, right? So I don't want them to think we're funding 136,000 reserves.
Okay, so you want me to put that
Yes,
100, I
yeah,
can put it
yeah.
back into debt service.
Yes.
I think it makes more sense. That's
Well, if it is for.
I'll put it back in debt
the only
service.
thing you have to say is note of, when it would actually.
Yeah, and maybe with sort of, yeah, and then
Because-
maybe do a parens and
Yeah.
then for a year,
Because it'll be
Sorry.
confusing here in the sense that,
The
yes.
one thing
if
that
it-
does do.
You know what it is? It's like in holding. It's like a little
Yeah.
holding zone.
The one thing it does do, and this is something I did mention, if we get the bonds early next year, we could say we could do the interest payment in the mid-year. So the next year won't have the double interest payment like this one reflects.
Yeah.
Is the reason, I guess the reason why we do it is just what time value of money, in the sense that you might as well wait to pay the same amount. But
Well,
why do we?
our
pay-
interest is double for this year for the first one.
But it's not, I don't know if that's the right way to say it.
Well,
I don't think it's not
it's
double,
actually,
the
we
payment
have an
amount.
extra interest payment in there to cover the first bond.
You're effectively paying 1 year's
One and a
interest
half-
as opposed to paying six,
One
five.
and a half, let me put it that way.
Yeah, effectively, instead of paying every 6 months,
Correct.
you have the ability
To
to
wait,
make a one-time payment
right.
that looks back on the entire.
But next year there won't be a $60,000 interest payment for Southwood. That'll be reduced.
Yes, okay.
That's what I was saying.
Was it a debt reserve that we created?
No, we just did a contingency line and we put debt near it and then
And when you pop that back into here, will it show it for the prior year? Because I'm looking back on the 25-26 budget.
No, because we move the
Those two
money.
words
When we
don't go
move
together.
contingency money, it's a budget transfer, so there's never a show.
Disappears.
It disappears.
So this, okay, great point. What we're looking at here, when you're looking at the 25-26 budget, that's after all the transfers, right?
Yeah, it just disappears.
So you mean the blank?
You
The
never,
budget we passed is not the one that's presented as the 25-26 budget.
because, well, actually it is, because I put in. But
Oh.
But when you do your transfers.
Yeah.
And then the later budgets, it's gone, because you do never charge to contingency. You never charge a line item to contingency.
Okay.
You move, it's always a budget transfer.
Okay.
So that's why.
Out of contingency to the appropriate line for the expenditure.
Correct, that's why you always see me when I put it on our budget transfers, that's why it's
Mhm.
contingency, it's not a line. There's nowhere for me to shift it.
It's
without-
just a holding place to then be sent out.
That's how I always look at it. It's like a
Yeah.
little holding
But
zone.
if
Where
you
is
wanna,
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
if you wanna put the 100,000 into debt service.
Yes.
Where is the
Yes.
contingency line?
Oh, that's what,
It's,
that's like
back.
page 4 or 5.
Yeah, that's early on. We passed it.
It's,
It's on page 3 of 9,
yep, great.
general fund,
And-
last line.
I dropped that extra contingency line because that was the only item to it and it was zeroed out and it didn't affect the budget.
And so that's now going to be 25.
25K.
Yeah, and that'll be moved to 25.
Okay.
Yeah, we chatted about that.
Okay,
Are we kind of getting to us, we're looking at 720, just saying.
Sure.
I know we're on a roll. This is good. I mean, we're really, drilling down
what
here.
I'm gonna do, that extra we moved to 12,000, I'm gonna take it out of that number. The contingency number and not the contingency,
Wait, say that
the
again?
infrastructure reserve, I'm moving to debt service, I'm gonna reduce that by 3,000.
Okay.
I'm comfortable with that.
Oh, okay.
It's an easy spot.
End of the day, I mean, it's gonna be much more apparent that when we pass.
We
the
have more
budget,
upcoming debt.
that we have very little going into reserves.
No, we do.
Because we're spending money,
What's coming in and going
Capital
out
project.
to
Yeah,
existing projects
yeah.
for
I
this year.
mean, this is where we are.
If you want more,
Okay, well, let's see what this comes back on, looks like. I did have
I
one
don't know if the
question.
shareholders don't get the big dividend. They just get a new road.
We're kind of piling the money back in.
Yeah, but I mean, we're spending it on things that we need, it's the good debt, the good spending. We're getting these projects done.
you said you had one more question?
Yeah, what was it? Dave?
I will pass for now and I send it to you.
So what?
We'll cover sewer next time.
Okay,
And I don't think there's anything to lighting and sewer. We talked about it. It's taking money from my fund balance to budget and how, but that was a.
Yeah.
I would say, thank you very much.
yeah, this is great.
For continuing to help us.
And then do we want to, certainly for the presentation, show refuse district?
No, you will get refuse.
Yeah,
district.
I mean, I know it's just the thing,
District is
it's the thing, but
5 minutes.
I know,
I will put refuse district
Yeah.
for our next budget meeting together.
Just
In
so it's-
fact, I owe you financial for refuse district because it just goes in and out of my brain.
well, you sort of feel like it's one and done, you
Yeah,
know?
because it's
It's sort of an odd,
it's
yeah.
not doing anything. But, no, next time you will see
Okay.
refuse district financials and I'll have a budget for the refuse district.
Okay, anything else, my friends? I make a motion, we adjourn,
Second.
roll call, please.
Trustee Marshall,
Aye.
trustee Will, Mayor Plummer.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thanks,
Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
yeah, a lot of good work, really.
Yeah.